Imagine this. You've been fasting for several hours. Your stomach growls, your hands grow cold, and an unusual odor emanates from your breath. You might start to wonder if something is amiss with your body. But what if these are actually indicators that everything is proceeding as it should? Today's video embarks on an intriguing scientific exploration titled, "What Happens When Fasting Starts Working? 8 Signs You Need to Know?" In this journey, we'll decipher the initial biological signals that confirm fasting isn't a debilitating process. Rather, it activates your body's most potent systems. From a metallic taste in your mouth and chilly hands to sustained energy and heightened concentration, each symptom is a silent expression from a body undergoing profound cellular transformation. If you've ever abandoned fasting due to initial discomfort, this video could fundamentally alter your perspective. Subscribe now, as we're about to unveil the science behind your body's true capabilities, and you won't want to miss a moment of this incredible internal metamorphosis. There's a surprising reality most people overlook. The initial discomfort experienced during the early stages of fasting isn't a sign of malfunction. It might actually be proof that something remarkable is beginning. If you're experiencing hunger, irritability, dizziness, or a slight mental fogginess, there's no need to panic. In fact, these symptoms often represent the first indications that your body is engaging an ancient biological mechanism, one that Dr. Mark Mattson, a distinguished neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University, terms the metabolic switch. Following over 25 years of research at the U.S. National Institute on Aging, Dr. Mattson discovered that after approximately 10 to 12 hours without food, your body depletes its stored sugar, glycogen, and subsequently begins to utilize a different energy source: fat. This is where the magic truly unfolds. As fat is broken down, your liver generates ketones, modest yet potent molecules that supply both your brain and muscles with clean, consistent energy. And here's the truly captivating aspect. Ketones are not merely a source of energy. They also act as biological signals that initiate profound healing processes, from boosting growth hormone, which safeguards muscle, to activating autophagy, your cell's inherent cleansing and repair system. Therefore, the initial fatigue, dizziness, or grumpiness isn't a sign of failure. It's the gateway to an elevated metabolic state. Your body isn't breaking down. It's reverting to an ancient survival program that allowed your ancestors to thrive. Consider this. Our ancestors lacked refrigerators or food delivery services. They frequently fasted for a day or two between successful hunts. If fasting had made them weak or lethargic, they wouldn't have survived. Instead, fasting sharpened their senses, quickened their reactions, and enhanced their focus. We no longer need to hunt for sustenance, yet our DNA remains unchanged. Today, when you refrain from eating, your body still activates that primal mode, not out of distress, but out of efficiency. So, interpret your body's signals through a biological lens. If your breath has a metallic taste, if your hands feel cold, if hunger fluctuates in waves, these are subtle indicators that you're entering significant metabolic territory. If you feel tired, your body is reorganizing its energy infrastructure. If your mind feels clouded, it's merely a precursor to ketones illuminating your neurons with clarity. Do not gauge the success of your fast by a mirror or a scale within the first 24 hours. Instead, measure it in terms of biology, where discomfort signifies transformation, not failure. And precisely when your body enters this novel realm of clean fuel, you'll begin to notice specific indicators, subtle hints that your fast is effectively working from within. One of the initial and most frequently misunderstood signs is the experience of hunger arising in intermittent waves. You might assume, the longer I fast, the hungrier I should become, right? However, research conducted by Dr. Mark Mattson and his colleagues presents a different conclusion. They discovered that ghrelin, often referred to as the hunger hormone, does not steadily increase over time, but rather surges in correlation with your customary mealtimes. Consequently, if you typically consume lunch at noon, you'll experience a distinct spike in hunger around that period. Yet, here's the intriguing aspect. If you abstain from eating, the hunger subsides, even without any caloric intake. Shortly thereafter, you might even feel entirely normal, sometimes even more alert than before. This demonstrates that hunger isn't a continuous progression, it's a fluctuating sensation, appearing and receding. It's not an indication that your body is deteriorating, but rather a signal that your internal systems are functioning correctly, recalibrating to a new rhythm. Thus, if you observe these oscillations, brief periods of hunger followed by tranquility, it's a positive indicator. Your body is testing the waters and learning how to achieve stability without relying on a rigid eating schedule. We've been conditioned to fear hunger, to perceive it as an emergency. However, from a biological standpoint, hunger is not an adversary, it's a message. A message that conveys your body is adjusting and adapting effectively. And once you navigate that initial wave, you are one step closer to the profound fat-burning state where ketones assume control and the genuine cascade of benefits begins to manifest. Second, a metallic or fruity breath demonstrates your transition to fat-burning mode. After successfully enduring those hunger fluctuations and stabilizing your hormones, another peculiar sign may emerge, one that frequently surprises those new to fasting. Your breath begins to acquire a metallic or subtly fruity scent, reminiscent of fermented apples. While this might initially cause alarm, it is, in fact, one of the most encouraging signs because it offers direct biochemical evidence that your body has shifted its metabolic switch from sugar metabolism to fat metabolism. Specifically, after 12 to 16 hours without food, your liver commences the conversion of stored fat into molecules known as ketones, an alternative fuel source. Among the three primary ketones, acetone is the most volatile, and it is expelled from your body through your breath. This accounts for the strange metallic or fruity odor of your breath. It is not malodorous breath caused by bacteria. It is a potent metabolic indicator. Your body is no longer dependent on glucose and has begun to utilize fat as its primary energy source. Dr. Mark Mattson characterizes this moment as a physiological turning point, the transition into a state optimized for mental clarity, muscular endurance, and nervous system resilience. Many individuals report feeling sharper, lighter, and more focused during this phase. Should the odor be bothersome, do not attempt to mask it with sugary gum or mints, as these could interrupt your fast. Instead, consume ample water or unsweetened tea to gently assist in flushing out acetone. In summation, that unusual breath is not a cause for concern. It is your body's declaration, we are proceeding correctly. Welcome to the deep fat burning zone. Third, cold hands and feet signal your body's ancient energy-saving mode. After your breath begins to carry the scent of ketones, another peculiar sensation may gradually emerge. Your hands and feet feel colder than usual, even if the ambient temperature has not changed. Do not be alarmed. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather a clear indication that your body's ancient survival mechanism is now active. When you fast, your insulin levels decrease significantly, alerting your body that stored energy is being utilized. In response, the body enters an energy conservation mode. It ceases producing heat from digestion, as you are not consuming food, and redirects blood flow away from your extremities, prioritizing vital organs such as the heart, liver, and brain. This phenomenon is termed survival heat prioritization. In the days of hunter-gatherers, our ancestors could not afford to expend precious energy warming every fingertip. They needed to sustain their core organs first. And even today, millennia later, your body reacts in the same manner when it perceives a scarcity of food. So, if you are fasting and observe your fingertips becoming chilly, understand that your body is not shutting down. It is adapting in an intelligent and efficient way. Don an additional layer of clothing, consume some warm water, or engage in a light walk to enhance circulation, and you will soon feel more comfortable once again. Fourth, initial fatigue, followed by surprisingly stable energy. After your body enters an energy-saving mode, characterized by chilly hands and ketone-scented breath, you might encounter the subsequent phase, initial fatigue. You feel sluggish, your mind moves slowly, as if your battery is draining. Yet, this is not a sign of failure. It represents the natural transition as your body shifts its fuel sources. Imagine a car accustomed to running on gasoline suddenly attempting to switch to electric power. There would be hesitation, disruption, and adjustment. This is precisely what your body is undergoing. You are transitioning from burning sugar to burning fat, a process that requires hours to days for full completion. According to Dr. Mark Mattson from Johns Hopkins, this phase marks the critical moment when your metabolic switch is being activated. Insulin levels decline, glucose stores are depleted, and the liver commences ketone production, a cleaner, more stable fuel for both the brain and muscles. However, there is an interim period. Glucose is diminishing, while ketones have not yet fully accelerated. This is the root cause of the fatigue. Nevertheless, if you persevere through these initial hours, your body catches up. Ketone levels escalate, and adaptive systems become active. Many individuals subsequently report feeling more alert and focused than before. This is when your body enters a stable energy mode, no longer dependent on sugar. What is truly fascinating is that ketone energy does not exhibit the spikes and crashes associated with sugar. Gone are the post-meal sleepiness or irritable hunger, hangry moods. Instead, you experience smooth, consistent energy, much like a meticulously regulated power source coursing through your body. This is also when growth hormone surges. Studies indicate that fasting can escalate growth hormone by 3 to 5 times, aiding in muscle preservation, tissue regeneration, and support for deep fat burning. Therefore, if you currently feel drained, understand this. Your body is undergoing an energetic transformation and is poised to unlock a new, optimized mode. 5. Brain fog, then unusual mental clarity. As your energy stabilizes, another shift becomes apparent. Your mind grows sharper. Initially, you may experience mental fogginess, an inability to concentrate, as though a thin mist clouds your thoughts. Yet, with an almost instantaneous shift, you find yourself lucid, concentrated, and mentally sharp. This isn't coincidence. When your body generates an adequate amount of ketones, specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate, BHB, it effortlessly crosses the blood-brain barrier, becoming the brain's optimal energy source. Unlike glucose, ketones supply clean, consistent energy, nourishing neurons more effectively without the erratic fluctuations associated with sugar. Even more remarkably, fasting stimulates the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF, a potent protein, safeguards brain cells, reinforces neural connections, and sharpens memory. It's frequently described as a natural stimulant for your brain. Our predecessors needed mental acuity while hungry for successful hunting and survival, and the modern brain still retains that evolutionary blueprint. Thus, when mental fogginess dissipates and clarity returns, it signifies your brain is functioning like a precise hunting mechanism, focused, attentive, and fully engaged. 6th, appetite diminishes after 24 hours. Among the most unusual aspects of fasting is this: hunger frequently lessens beyond 24 hours. It may seem contradictory, but many individuals observe this astonishing shift. Instead of increased hunger, they actually feel less hungry after a full day without food. Why? Firstly, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, adheres to your eating rhythm, not a linear progression. It surges around your typical meal times, such as lunch or dinner. However, if you abstain from eating, it recedes and ceases to trigger potent hunger signals. Secondly, ketones naturally curb appetite. Once your body metabolizes fat and produces ketones, the brain receives a steady fuel supply, no longer demanding additional food. Thirdly, without the abrupt rises and falls in blood sugar, you avoid sudden drops that incite intense hunger. All these factors contribute to the peculiar yet wonderful outcome. The longer you fast, the less hungry you feel. This is not merely a relief, it indicates your body has adapted, transitioned fuel sources, and is now efficiently utilizing its own fat reserves. 7th, skin eruptions. These are indications your body is undergoing an internal cleansing. For many individuals, fasting occasionally leads to an unexpected side effect: minor breakouts, redness, or skin irritation. Initially, this might seem like an adverse reaction, but in reality, it's a biological indicator that your body is undergoing profound cellular purification. When you fast for a sufficient period, your body not only switches from glucose to fat for energy, but it also activates a powerful process called autophagy. This is a cellular maintenance system where damaged cellular components are broken down and recycled. As this internal cleansing occurs, certain compounds previously sequestered in fat tissues are liberated into the bloodstream. If the liver cannot immediately manage the influx, the skin becomes an alternative elimination route. The consequence may be temporary breakouts, mild itchiness, or a dull complexion during the initial phase of extended fasting. However, these are not signs of harm. They are more akin to dust clouds during a spring cleaning. The crucial point is to remember that this typically resolves on its own as the liver, kidneys, and lymphatic system process and expel the toxins. Do not panic or interrupt your fast with sugary foods. Instead, facilitate detoxification by consuming ample water, ensuring calm rest, and exercising patience. Each breakout might actually signify that your body is healing itself from within, one cell at a time. 8th, mood fluctuations. When the nervous system reacts to a lack of food, you're fasting. Suddenly, your emotions feel erratic. Perhaps you're irritable, anxious, or unusually melancholic. Do not hastily judge yourself or presume something is amiss. In truth, this is your nervous system responding precisely as it was designed to when energy sources shift. Under normal circumstances, your brain relies on glucose. However, during fasting, glucose levels decline and your body begins producing ketones, an alternative, cleaner fuel. This metabolic alteration activates the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, the central system responsible for regulating stress responses. Consequently, hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine subtly increase, enhancing alertness, but also making you more emotionally vulnerable. This is not a defect. It's the same survival mechanism our ancestors utilized to remain sharp during periods of hunger. But here's the encouraging news. This phase is not permanent. As ketone levels stabilize and your brain adjusts, your mood begins to settle, focus returns, and anxiety diminishes. The most important understanding is that this emotional instability signifies adaptation, not failure. Just as your muscles ache after a new workout, your nervous system also requires time to recalibrate in a fasted state. To aid this transition, consider gentle walks, deep breathing exercises, warm showers, or meditation. And above all, refrain from judging your feelings. Honor them as indicators of profound biological recalibration. Fasting is not merely skipping meals. It's an ancient signal you transmit to your body, and your body responds by initiating a series of intricate, potent, and inspiring biological processes. When you overcome those initial surges of hunger, chills, emotional shifts, or the metallic taste in your mouth, you're not simply enduring discomfort. You're unleashing biological capabilities shaped by millions of years of evolution. Each of those uncomfortable symptoms is evidence that you're entering a state of fat burning, cellular purification, organ revitalization, and energy replenishment. The human body is not fragile. It merely awaits you to pause long enough to discern what it has been endeavoring to communicate. And when you do, it doesn't just survive, it regenerates. We are not asserting that fasting is suitable for everyone, particularly if you have underlying medical conditions. Always seek professional medical advice. However, if you are healthy and inquisitive, recognizing the signals your body sends during a fast is the most direct way to understand yourself scientifically, honestly, and profoundly. Let's summarize the journey. Hunger arrives in waves due to hormonal rhythms. Ketones emerge and your breath alters. You may feel cold, irritable, or even experience breakouts. And then comes clarity, equilibrium, and inner tranquility. None of this is accidental. Each reaction represents a chapter in the unfolding living biology within you. If you have progressed this far, you are more than a mere spectator. You are an explorer, an individual willing to observe your body like a scientist and accompany yourself like a companion. Subscribe to this channel if you wish to continue unraveling the science of fasting, metabolism, and human energy. And share in the comments which of these signs you have personally experienced. We meticulously read every single response. Your body operates silently, powerfully, and intelligently.